That's actually a good transition to another little article that I had. I could pull it up real quick.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I didn't say speaking of. I just said speaking of. So we have the ozone hole, but there's also something called the South Atlantic Anomaly, which, according to Science Alert, it's a strange magnetic anomaly above South America and across Southwest Africa. Anyway, NASA's been watching this for a while, and it seems to be splitting in half and separating into two.
Interesting.
Maybe there's some animation here we could show. But yeah, apparently there's like a dense metallic lump underneath Africa that messes up our magnetic field. And it doesn't really pose an issue to the people on the ground, but it does pose an issue to things in space. You actually do run into some glitches and software issues and stuff when you pass over that area. And in fact, I think actually Scott Manley had on one of his things he was talking about on the NASA maps that are up on that screen. They actually have it's called the SAA, the South Atlantic Anomaly, kind of on there so that they can keep track of it and know, to be wary when things pass over it.
Wow. That's crazy. So we're actually like seeing it split and change and...
Yeah. Well, I think that's the point of this. Well, it's going through all kinds of stuff here, but I think the point of this article is that it does seem to be shifting and moving and splitting in half and becoming two separate things.
Remember the whole, like, it was really, that is nuts. Remember, like, back in the day, like, the Bermuda Triangle was always, like, growing up, it was like, everything gets lost in Bermuda. What if there was, like, a magnetic lump like that in the early 1900s or something? We just didn't know about it, and it was messing with compasses on planes for a couple decades, and then it kind of shifted and went away and went back into the mantle or the core or something, and we just weren't smart enough to observe it yet because we didn't have like satellite imagery.
I don't think I've ever done a video on the Bermuda Triangle. Maybe I should do that. It's actually an interesting topic because
Joe Scott video.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Actually, when I was a kid, here's how dumb I was. I actually thought, like, if we got into a war with Russia, because that was like the whole thing, right? That we should like tease them to attack us in Florida, because then they'd have to like fly over the Bermuda Triangle and they'd all disappear. Game over.
Fall into our trap.
Make me general. I know everything.
Game blouses.
Right. No, but there's some really interesting theories around the Bermuda Triangle that actually don't rely on aliens and stuff. But one of them was that there were methane deposits underneath the Gulf of Mexico, basically, and that when people fly over it and it like belches out this massive methane bubble, then it would like choke the engines because it wasn't getting the oxygen that it needed for the engines to work in the planes, and the planes would go down.
Stall. Huh.
I mean,
please
more
do a
like
video
the pilots. The pilots were just
get your phone out right now and write it down.
Well, so I mentioned something under Africa here. So it's called the African Large Low Shear Velocity Province.
Yeah,
it's located 2,900 kilometers below the African continent, and it's this like a swirling ocean of molten iron inside Earth's outer core. So it's interesting to me that, like, I can go ahead and close this. We know more about the moon than we do about what's going on 2 miles below our feet.
Kind of.
It's really interesting.
I mean, the ocean, even,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the idea of like we've sent more people to the moon than we have like to the Mariana Trench. It doesn't necessarily mean we know more about the moon than we know about well, maybe. I don't know.
You should just ask my son. He knows everything about this. He's been watching every National Geographic thing. You just ask him.
Yeah. I don't know. I get kind of fascinated because it's sort of like how we thought the Earth was flat once upon a time. We have this perspective on this plane of existence on the very top of this gigantic rock, but 99.999 infinity% of what's going on this rock is happening inside of it.
Yeah.
And we're not privy to that. And it does affect us up here in our world in various ways. I find that interesting. Anyway,
it's cool that there's still these mysteries right here because I don't know, maybe just, as you get older, you start to have this box that you assume everything fits in. And it's cool to know that, no, there are still things outside of it that can change your entire perspective like that.
Yeah. Well, another reason why I don't think it really talks about it in this article, but, probably why they're paying more attention to the anomaly here is that these molten convection currents in the core and in the outside of the core cause the magnetic pole to shift. And it's been shifting quite a bit over the last few decades, and that's why they're saying it might flip again, because it's flipped several times in our history.
That'll mess up some stuff for a bit.
For a bit, yeah.
I mean, like weeks until like everything gets a software update and everything.
Well, but it depends. Like, does it occur over geologic time? Is it something that happens over a day? It might take 10,000 years for it to fully flip over, and we can obviously adjust in that time. But
yeah.
But even if it did, I don't think it would be like cataclysmic necessarily.
I don't want to be around.
But let's just say it was shifting, and the magnetic north is actually over, let's say, Europe or even Southern Europe, Northern Africa, or that kind of latitude. Well, you would be seeing northern lights in that part of the world instead of at the north.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I'd be more worried about the bigger systems that are at play, ships, airplanes, things that all of a sudden go a bit haywire. Some of the more concrete things that
I'm more worried about like planes and GPS and stuff like that.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this clip from our show. If that's just not enough for you and you want to watch the full episode, you can go to olfpod.com/YT.
And if you want more from us, you can consider becoming a Patreon member. You'll get early access to episodes. You can join our awesome community. You can actually watch us record live and get your name in the credits by going to olfpod.com/Patreon.
So thanks everyone for watching. Check back every Friday for new clips here and new episodes on the main channel.
Thanks everybody.